Mr. Richard Hatem.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Oh, anytime.
Absolutely. Do you need some water?
Oh, sure. Thank you. I've got plenty.
So, Andrew Miller and Richard Hatem?
Yeah, Richard Hatem.
Richard Hatem.
Hatem. Oh, this is Jake the dog from Adventure Time. The coolest show on television. It's on Cartoon Network. Second only to Secret Circle on CW. So how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
So I asked Kevin this question, but I mean, obviously there was a vampire craze, there was a bit of a zombie craze. Now you guys have a show on witches. Witches are a big part on True Blood. I mean, what is it about witches that sort of captivate as a subject matter, and why are they sort of hot right now?
Whatever Kevin said, we agree with. I think for me, the idea of witches as a supernatural entity, I think it's really fun because it feels slightly more relatable in the sense that our witchcraft comes from, tapping into energy that exists in the things all around us, and it feels like, any one of us can kind of hear the roar of an ocean or walk through a forest and kind of feel the power of those things, and that's what we're tapping into, which is just a little bit different than being born a shapeshifter or being born like a werewolf or being turned into one. So in that sense, we're trying to ground the show a lot and make it as relatable as possible, and I think in that sense it's a very appealing idea, and then taking empowerment in the way we can on CW with the characters of these ages, we think it's a really fun and relatable story that people will respond to in that way. Hopefully turning into a craze, but at least they'll like.
How did you two find your way to this project? Were you fresh?
We made a left agreement. I started with, I was developing the book series with Alloy and Warner Brothers, and then as it seemed like it was heading into something legitimate, they brought Kevin in because it was because of LJ and because it was going to be a companion piece, and then he helped out and we made the pilot, and then we grabbed this guy who was like sitting around doing nothing, and because we were huge fans of the
this
Gays.
man.
The Gays, exactly.
But Richard had done a terrific pilot that wasn't going to go, and we grabbed him before he could go anywhere else.
Andrew, I have a question for you. Having gone from a successful web series, Imaginary Bitches, how is the transition to television? Like, do you find it difficult at all, or it's like easy?
I mean, there's nothing easy about television, but it's certainly a lot of fun. And I did a web series, but most of the actors were imaginary, so they
Right.
they didn't complain. We didn't have to pay them very much. It was easier to shoot them and light them at least. This has been an incredible experience. Getting to work with Warner Brothers and CW, and because of Kevin and the association with Vampire, they have thrown their support behind our show, so we kind of get to do. We want Natasha Henstridge, and they go out and get Natasha Henstridge and Gail Harold. So they've been so supportive, and it feels like as easy as it can be under difficult circumstances.
Okay, perfect.
Can you talk all about the dynamics between the different witches in the coven that forms, or how you're going to be building intersecting characters on the show?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, these characters sort of got thrown together. I mean, these are 6 people who would not have been friends until they found out they had sort of had a shared lineage, and so they don't necessarily like each other. They don't necessarily get along, and each of them are kind of damaged in their own way because of personal history, and so in a lot of ways the show is about the unlikely friendship because they have something that binds them, and they will sort of in a weird way heal each other over the course of the series. They will find aspects of themselves, and they'll find friendships and relationships with each other that they don't expect. And those things will switch back and forth. There'll be times they hate each other, and then that'll switch. So it'll be fun to track sort of the alliances and friendships and relationships as the series goes forward.
Can you talk about how true you're going to stay to the books, and what kind of changes in the story-wise going forward?
We're starting with the characters and the relationships and the dynamics from the books that are all awesome, and we're taking like the bulk of the mythology, but the books kind of go to a specific end that we can't. So to extend that world for as long as we possibly can. We'll deviate pretty quickly from the story of the books, but try to stay true to the characters. We had to unfortunately reduce the circle a little bit. So things like that are just practical issues in terms of creating the show. But I think we all so love the heart of the book and the idea and the characters that we'll stick to that pretty closely.
Okay.
Are you going to be bringing in any stereotypical witch stuff like cauldrons, rooms, any of that?
I don't think so. I mean, we're going to avoid that as much as possible, and it's not even a question of avoiding. Actually, we're just trying to slightly redefine our version of witchcraft, and it's a little bit more, nature-based, and we deal with the elements a lot, and water, fire, air, and earth, and we're trying to take it's like the all-star team of magic from different cultures and times, and try to put it together and create something that feels a little fresh and modern.
Right.
How far ahead have you planned out? A season, 2 seasons, years beyond?
We've almost figured out episode 3. Let me tell you. I don't want to give anything away, but.
But this goes back to the book that there is a mythology in the book that's really tantalizing. So we're in some sense it's an easy long-term plan because of the books, and then it's just kind of figuring out the road together.
It's a companion piece to Vampire Diaries, but obviously separate worlds. In terms of the way the show is sort of structured, the pacing, Vampire Diaries has a lot of depths, a lot of cliffhangers, things happen quickly. What sort of similarities and differences will there be in the structure of the show?
I think you're going to find that in terms of pace, in terms of storytelling, it's very similar. It's kind of a different world, though. I mean, vampires live to kill in a way, and we have witches, and they're in high school. So, the pace of death may not be the same, but the pace of storytelling and revelation and mystery will definitely, you will go straight through 2 hours of television, and you will feel spun around at the end, which is fun. I mean, it's a fun way to tell stories.
I have a question. Why the change in location? In the books, it was set in New Salem, but now it's in Chance Harbor, Washington. Was there any reason why?
New Salem didn't have a rebate, did it?
Well, we initially went for the New Salem thing, and we felt that for the mythology, it worked a little better when they were hiding from Salem, they went further.
Okay.
So we have them going across the country, and then also we were shooting in Vancouver, and the idea of witchcraft and using the elements is so huge there because there are these forests and oceans and these amazing locations like in the pilot, and that we get to explore every week. So it just kind of seemed to fit to take that Pacific Northwest feel, and there's some great cultural stuff there, from natives, and it's a more frontier kind of place, and we thought we could freshen up instead of just doing everything like Salem or Virginia and Vampire Diaries, that we could kind of make it new for us over there.
Okay, thank you.
How many writers do you have at your disposal right now? Are you guys in?
Writers are never disposable, but
well, we've got a writer named David Ehrman. We have Andrea Newman. She's great. Michelle Lovretta, who did Lost Girl up in Canada. Dawn Whitehead and Holly Henderson, who are from Smallville. And then we have Charlie Charbonneau and Shireen Razik, who are sort of the newest writers. So we have a good group. They're really fun, really creative group. So we're very lucky.
Excited.
A big part of some of the other supernatural series is they tie in sort of, love triangles and romance, whereas the principles in this show are, going to be all focused on the coven of witches. Is there going to be a bit of romance and intrigue on that front as well in the show?
Hell yeah. We're going to bring people in. I mean, we figure it can't be that incestuous within our circle. And obviously Cassie, Adam, Diana is going to be a prominent triangle throughout the series. But we're bringing in people. They're gonna meet around and date, and it'll cause problems within the circle. It's part of what we're trying to relate to. You have a group of friends, you bring someone else in, it's a pain in the ass, and we're going to explore those ideas.
Gentlemen, one last question, please.
Aside from the witches on your show, do you have favorite fictional witches?
Well, the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, anyone who melts into the ground howling, "What a world, what a world." I feel that way every afternoon.
It says a lot about you. I would pick Linda the Witch.
Oh,
You're
sure,
wearing white.
Well, you would have. Yes, I'm not.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks,
That was great.
Imaginary bitches.